Hey sweeties, I'm Caitlin Matheson and today we are back. Today we're going to be making a gorgeous pink sweet Valentine's cake in a heart shape ready to give to your lover. Let's get into it. I've already gone ahead and baked my vanilla cake. What I usually do is just bake our cakes in a sheet pan and then use my biggest heart cutter to cut the cake. I find that easier because I can make them in bulk, nice and fast, and minimize wastage. Otherwise, of course, if you have a mini heart tin this small, you can go ahead and bake it, but I didn't have one this little because this is perfect for 2 people. So once you've baked your cake, you're just gonna go ahead and cut the layers nice and even and fill that with buttercream. I've gone ahead and made some vanilla buttercream. I'm just gonna give it a stir to make sure we get rid of any air bubbles before we ice our cake and add our food coloring. Now I'm going to go ahead and add just a few drops of Electric Pink by Americolor. It's one of my favorite gel-based food colorings. You don't need much here because I do want to keep it a light pink, but I find it nice and easy to start with a brighter color, especially if you're just building your food coloring collection. Just have a few of the brighter colors and just add a lot less. And then you don't need 400 million colors. But if you're a beginner and you feel more confident, you definitely can buy all the different options of food coloring out there. I'm doing my arm workout. As you can see, I got a beautiful pale pink buttercream color by just adding 1 or 2 drops of that electric pink color. So that's all you need, and you can make any shade you like. So I totally recommend just buying your core colors in a really good quality food coloring, and it will be able to give you anything that you need. We're gonna go ahead and just add a dollop of that on top of our heart. And we're just gonna take our offset spatula and start spreading that on top of our heart. Icing mini cakes is definitely very deceiving. It looks a lot easier than it is, but sometimes it can actually take you longer or be more tricky being so little. And the tools are just too big for these little cakes, but it's so hard to have tiny little accessories when you don't do them very often. So you do have to have patience here, but it'll be worth it for how cute it's gonna look in the end. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit more along the top edge. With hearts, the buttercream always tends to gravitate towards the board, so just make sure before we start smoothing that you're picking up some of that buttercream and putting it back on the top edge. When you're icing hearts, you tend to always have to add extra buttercream at the edge of the heart there and more at the back because the cake does tend to show when you're smoothing it out. So I always go ahead and add some extra icing before I start smoothing. Now, once you have a decent amount of buttercream on, I'm just gonna take my scraper, and you wanna start really slowly around the heart. Because it is a fragile shape, you want to just keep easing into it. You don't wanna take away too much icing at the beginning. I'm just gonna go ahead and scrape off that top edge, just to make it a little neater, and then we can add some more icing when we need, but then we can see where we're going with it. Now that I've iced the cake with buttercream, I'm just gonna go ahead and softly pull in the buttercream from the top edge, just to make that nice and smooth. Okay, now that I have my top nice and smooth, I did scrape off a little bit too much on top, but I am adding the border and sprinkles, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and get a piping bag. We use the disposable ones from Box Packaging. We love these, they're really great quality, and they're really easy to use. I'm just gonna go in and add a loyal number 2 tip. It's the perfect size for writing, I find, on cakes with buttercream. So these are my favorite. So definitely stock up on number 2s because they're a staple in any decorator's kit. I've just gone ahead and added some white buttercream in, but of course add any color of buttercream you like for the writing of your cake. The trick when you're writing on cakes is not to overfill your bag. I like to just have a small amount, like half a cup of icing in here at the maximum, just so it sits in my hand really nicely like a pen. Make sure to twist your bag nice and tight to have that pressure on the bag. I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna write with my left hand, but of course stick with your preferred writing method. You can squeeze some out on the edge of your bowl just to make sure you got no air bubbles before you begin writing. Because once that writing's on, we cannot change it, unfortunately. So it's always a good idea to think about what word you want to write first so you can visually think about the placement. Today I'm writing love you, so I'm going to do that over 2 lines so I kind of get an idea of where I want to write. I'm going to begin by starting with my L, and I'm just going to press down, and I want to do a swirl to begin. You want to have a really even pressure, and you want to go nice and slow. Don't rush this. I like to try to keep my words continuous if I just find it easier. But as you start writing, you'll get to know what you like better. Wasn't meant to do too loose, but anyway, it's all good. So once you finish your first word, you can just decide the starting point of your second. And then you can do any font you like. I like to keep it really swirly for Valentine's Day, but keep it nice and simple if you prefer as well. Here I've just got a darker pink buttercream icing. So just make sure to give it another stir just to make sure it hasn't separated or formed any air bubbles, and fill that in the packing bag with the tip. Today I'm using the Cake Craft number 18 tip. It's just a small star tip. And then you're gonna position it at the point of your heart, and you're gonna press in and kind of do like a trailing effect where you squeeze in to make a lump, then pull out and continue. Today we're going in with this beautiful sprinkle mix that we've made ourselves, but of course there's amazing suppliers online where you can purchase Valentine's Day sprinkles ready to go. We've used a white, a red, a light pink and a metallic pink. And we like to use the nonpareils, just the little balls, on these tiny cakes because the cakes are so small, it can look a little bit overwhelming with the strands or any bigger, but of course stick with your personal preference. But I'll show you what these nonpareils look like. I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly sprinkle them along the bottom of the cake. I don't like to go too heavy with the sprinkles because we do have a lot going on in this little cake. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add a thin layer along the edge of that piping on the top. Be careful not to put it on the writing because you don't want to interfere. Oh no. I put it on the writing. Oh no! I couldn't feel where I was going. I literally have ruined this cake. Everything has gone wrong. I swear. This mini cake is cursed. There we go. Well, we've got the sprinkles on now. A little bit on top's okay, I guess. That's how it's gonna have to be. And then I'm gonna just start with the piping on the bottom. So same thing as the top. We're just gonna go ahead, start at the back, and start piping around the cake and spin the turntable. After you're done doing everything wrong and ruining your love heart cake, you can go ahead and clean up your mess. Hopefully it looks semi-decent still and the person we gift it to will never know. If you enjoyed this cake tutorial, please leave me a comment down below letting me know what you'd like to see next. I hope you all have a very sweet Valentine's Day, and just remember, if you don't receive any gifts, you can always bake yourself a cute little mini cake. We won't be judging if you sit on the couch eating it with a fork. Enjoy. Stay sweet, lovers.